Hello, everyone. Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, the Director of Nonprofit Marketing from Pivot, talking to you. And I am in a strange place in the world, someplace I have never given a webinar from before. I am in Scotland with my family right now. We'll be living here the next 2.5 months, and Pivot is kind enough to let me be working from afar. I want to make sure you can all hear me fine. So if you could go into your question bar in the GoToWebinar control panel and just let me know that you can hear me okay, that would put my mind at ease very much. And that you're seeing my screen fine would also be great. I hope you are all doing well. The reason I'm here is that my wife has a sabbatical from her job, and so we are getting to spend the time here. So. And I can see from all of you that you can hear me. Hopefully the signal stays nice and clear. Anyway, my wife has a sabbatical from her job, and she loves the United Kingdom, so here we are. Anyway, that is my news, and we will launch into the webinar now. So first of all, for the news from the last few weeks, Pinterest is going to start having some new targeting for their promoted pins and promoted these are the ads that you can get through Pinterest. So they started off ads a while back, started off these promoted pins, but without much sort of targeting and some of the tools that Facebook and now Twitter are giving you for ads. And so Pinterest is really sort of going down the direction of Facebook and Twitter, where they are starting to have it be sort of more of a formalized ad network where companies can target people based on interest and location and things like that. So very much following the Facebook model of advertising will now be seen on Pinterest. Amazon introduced this interesting feature called the Amazon wish list. So the way that this works is that you can, on Twitter, if you're talking about a product or you see a product online that you like, you can tweet about it and then use the hashtag Amazon wishlist, and it will automatically then go over and be put on your Amazon wishlist. I don't know exactly, I mean, they must have you connect up those accounts somehow. I have not tried it out myself, but I thought it was a fascinating way for Amazon to tap into the popularity of Twitter, the use of hashtags that is prevalent, of course, on Twitter and things like that. So interesting that they're tapping into that and introducing a technology that that lets people use those hashtags directly to to get things through Amazon. Facebook is testing a new buy button. The way that this buy button will work, and my picture is a little bit fuzzy here, but basically you would be seeing a sponsored ad about a particular product, and then you could click through to this the buy button, and it would actually automatically take you through a payment process right there. They are partnering with a company, I believe it's called iStripe, that will process the payment and do all of that. And so we'll see if this becomes something that that Facebook actually rolls out side-wide. But right now, it looks like it is going to be something that they are at least pursuing. And of course, they are looking for more and more ways to make their site sort of e-commerce friendly and have it be a place where companies are really going to want to spend money. And the addition of a buy button would certainly be something that would help out with that. Also, this was interesting. I got an email from Facebook, actually both to my personal account and my Pivot account, because I've run Facebook ads out of both of the accounts associated with both of those email addresses, and it was basically saying, hey, we know that the holidays are coming up, and you might want to advertise with us during the holidays. Then they have this link to see some holiday tips. I did click through that link. I would say that their tips are sort of half helpful and half just more sort of advertising for their own ads. But there was some interesting things in there that they give you, some interesting statistics that they give you about how engagement with ads tends to increase during the holidays and things like that. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting move. Facebook, as I said a minute ago, very obviously and clearly wanting to attract more companies to advertise with them. So it was just interesting that they were being so proactive about it. And then in other Facebook news, I've got a handful of Facebook items this month. They've just, I say, unleashed Atlas on the world, and what I mean by that is that they have been working with a company that's going to help them. I believe Facebook bought this company. It's called Atlas, and basically it's going to help them increase their ad network. So not only will you be able to buy ads through Facebook that show up on Facebook for people, but also you're going to be able to start buying ads that let you target people once they've left Facebook, right? So you'll be able to set the same sort of targeting that you would with your Facebook ads, but now it's going to become this retargeting sort of thing where after they've been on Facebook, then they will go to other sites and they'll start seeing your ad pop up there as well because you have used Facebook with Atlas in order to set up your ad. So this is a way that Facebook is really trying to rival Google and its ad network in terms of how sort of comprehensive and sweeping it is. So it will be interesting to see how that unfolds. We have not yet tried any ads with Atlas, but I think it's a matter of time before it's available for all of us to try out. One last thing about Facebook and one last thing here in the news. I logged into Facebook a little while ago, and maybe you all have seen this as well, and they had this little privacy checkup. So this was interesting to me because, you know, Facebook is the social media sort of most notorious for privacy issues, and so they want to try, you know, they're sort of trying to convince people that they really are concerned about your privacy and make it easier and easier for you to update your privacy settings. So they have this privacy checkup. I have no idea what a dinosaur has to do with privacy, but that's their little character who goes along with the privacy settings. And so you can see that it walks you through different things about sort of who you want to have see your posts. Do you want to get into that more or anything like that, or do you want to you know, move on? It lets you then look at things like your apps and who can you know, how the apps are engaging with your account and whether or not that is private enough the way you want it to be. Things like then who can see your personal information that's in your profile, your email address, your phone number, and all of that sort of stuff, your hometown. So all of that is there in the privacy checkup as well. And then it, you know, it gives you this closing. Okay, hey, we've done it. We've checked you up. You should be all set. And so again, just an interesting move on Facebook's part. A helpful one, you know, one that you could even think about for your own website if you are a company that offers a kind of service that, you know, where there might be some sort of settings that people could be checking up on. It's interesting to have this feature where it sort of automatically is taking you there once you are logged in. So something to think about, and also just interesting from a social media point of view that Facebook is trying to improve its reputation as it pertains to privacy. So that is the news that I have. Now I want to get into the focus topic, which is straight talk on great campaigns. Now, if you join me regularly on these webinars, you'll know that every few months, usually it's, you know, it's a little less than once a quarter, and I think this is only the second time I've done it this year. But anyway, I every now and then try to do a webinar about great campaigns that are out there that people have done using social media, because there really is some good stuff and there's a lot that can be learned. So I think I have 5 or 6 campaigns to look at here today, and then some takeaways from those. So I'll explain what the campaigns were, and then sort of what I think we can learn from them. So Applebee's did this Fantographer campaign where they invited people to post pictures of food or pictures of themselves enjoying food, and then, you know, send it to Applebee's with the hashtag Fantographer, and then Applebee's would take those pictures and they would use them on their own Instagram account, that sort of thing. So it wasn't something that people were automatically uploading it, but it was something where if they liked your picture, then they would use it on their campaign. And it ended up getting a lot of you know, a lot of followers for them on Instagram, which was one of their objectives, and of course was really important in terms of user engagement and how well people were, you know, were basically doing things for them, sending things to them, and that sort of thing. So that's Applebee's campaign. Starbucks has this Meet Me at Starbucks campaign, which they're doing through their YouTube channel. And this is not so much something where they have people submitting things, as it is that they're doing this sort of push to emphasize the real-world connections that happen, at Starbucks, as you can sort of see from this picture here. And so I thought this was fascinating because for a couple of reasons. First of all, I thought it was interesting that they're using this digital platform, which really, I mean, yes, social media is about connection in the best way, and yet because it's digital, it is always sort of one step removed from actual human connection. But they're using that digital platform to emphasize actual human connection, right? By posting all these YouTube videos, they're also doing it across their other social media channels, pushing out this message, really trying to. It's really a branding move for them more than it is, a contest or anything like that, as some of these other things are. But an interesting move there to talk about human connection and use social media as a way to do that. Dennys has an interesting campaign going on right now, and they've done some of these campaigns successfully in the past. But I read about it because it was an article saying that, in general, the social media check-in is sort of dying. Foursquare was really big for a time, people checking into places. But that has the excitement around that has died down, and check-ins, have been declining. But this article was pointing out that you can actually, there are still companies who are doing these really great campaigns around check-ins. So a couple of years ago, Denny did this check-in campaign where if you checked in to a Denny's to one Denny's in every one of the 50 states, you would be entered to win in, Grand Slam breakfasts for life, free Grand Slam breakfasts for life. So I don't know how many people, actually went and checked in at a Denny's in 50 different states. But they had this huge campaign that was really popular, and people did a lot of checking in at Denny's. Well, they've just done another check-in campaign in the last few months here, where they're doing things where you check in and then you get to they did it in conjunction with Atari, so it comes along with this app that you can download, the sweepstakes that you can enter. But the objective overall was, to get people checking in to their stores, which for them is really useful in terms of the location-based data that they are getting out of those check-ins. And so that's the sort of ultimate reason, the marketing reason behind it. It's not just for the check-ins themselves, but it's to get that data about, sort of who's checking in where and that sort of thing. So again, interesting that they took that, and I'll talk more about why I think this campaign in particular was interesting in a few minutes. Votto Bistro. So this is not a company that, well, you may have heard of it. You very well may have heard of it. Probably not. It's a restaurant in San Francisco. I only heard about it because they did this really fascinating campaign. The genesis of this, the story behind it, was that they felt that Yelp was punishing them. So Yelp had approached them about doing some advertising, and Votto Bistro did some advertising with Yelp, and then they stopped doing advertising with Yelp, and instantly they felt like all of their Yelp reviews started becoming lower reviews, and in fact they saw that one of their best reviews actually disappeared from their account somehow. So they really felt, I mean, they use the word blackmail. They felt that they'd been blackmailed by Yelp, for not, not continuing to advertise with them. And so now they have this anti-Yelp campaign, and you can see their board here, right? All of these things that they don't have, and then they say, what can you do? Hate us on Yelp and get 25% off any pizza for your one-star review. So they're actually encouraging people to go to Yelp and give them a bad review on Yelp. And in exchange for that, they are giving out this 20% coupon. And what it's doing, in addition to, of course, creating great press for them, is it's also creating some incredibly loyal customers. Yelp is actually sending them cease and desist letters now for doing an anti-Yelp campaign, right? I mean, for actually getting bad reviews. So it's just fascinating, and what a clever way to sort of turn the tables on first of all, on a traditional marketing campaign, right? Normally you'd be asking your customers to go and write you a Yelp review and hope that it's a good one, and generally it's going to be, right? But instead, they have turned the tables on that and turned the tables on Yelp itself by doing this anti-Yelp campaign. And some of the reviews that you'll see on their Yelp page, if you check it out, are just hilarious. You know, people writing these really funny reviews about things that they couldn't get there, you know, or you know, like one of them's like, I hate this place so much because their food is so good, I go there every night and now I'm, you know, huge, or whatever. It's just people being really creative with it. So a great way that they managed to flip a campaign on its head in order to increase loyalty and get a lot of good press. Now this last one is really is just a sort of an honorable mention kind of thing, because it's not actually well, it is a campaign in some ways, but it's not a campaign in the traditional sense. It's not a company that's put this on. It's not, you know, somebody you would have heard of or something like that. It was this guy named Brian Switchcow. He does work for a marketing agency, I believe, and he actually ended up creating Facebook ads using their targeting methods so that he could target it down to a single user who was his roommate, right? So I don't know what his roommate's name was, but basically, you know, you can see here he designed this this ad for his roommate to address something that he knew his roommate was actually going through. So his roommate evidently is a professional sword swallower, a street performer, but he has trouble actually, you know, swallowing pills. So he made this ad for him. You're right. Does it seem ironic that swallowing pills is easy and then small pills make you gag, or swallowing swords is easy? You know, and his roommate, you know, writes about it and like, oh my goodness, you can't believe that this ad is really speaking to him. You know. It's really, on one hand, really funny, right, that somebody would do something like this. And on the other hand, really kind of shows the opportunities and the limits and the interesting sort of boundaries and all sorts of things like that around the targeting that's available through Facebook ads, right? It really sort of, on one hand, makes me say, wow, look at how powerful this targeting is. You could really go after, you know, really small niche markets. And on the other hand, like, ooh, wow, you know, you could really, you know, freak people out. So, I mean, there's sort of this, I sort of have a love-hate relationship with what this guy did. But I think it's fascinating that he did it. So those are the campaigns that I wanted to look at. Here are some takeaways that I have regarding these campaigns. First of all, user-generated content is still a great idea, and my takeaways pretty much go in order of the campaigns that I showed you. So with Applebee's, you've got them doing this Fantographer campaign where they're inviting people to send in their own pictures of food, right? We did this recently with a client of ours where we invited users to send in their pictures of themselves using the company's product and holding a photo contest that would then, you know, the sort of in return for that was that the company got to use those photos in any marketing materials. That was sort of in all of the you know, all of the disclaimers and everything that these actually could end up being used. And so we got some great pictures from fans who were taking pictures with that product. And you know, it's just a great thing. People love sending in their pictures. They will have fun with it. They will be creative with it, and they will just really do a really great job with that. And so you know, go ahead and ask for those things, and make sure that you have your rules in place. People know what's going to you know, happen when they send in those photos. And if you want to add a contest to it to sort of sweeten the pot a little bit, because that is going to, you know, that's going to really help you out and make people more willing to do it. Second of all, people enjoy sharing what they like about you, right? So people don't mind telling others what it is that they like most about your company. You know, if there is something that is appealing about your business, that's going to be something that people are going to want to pass on. And I think that you know, I think that's something that Applebee's also captured well. So don't be afraid to sort of you know, ask people to express to other people, to their friends and that sort of thing, what it is that they like about your company. Emphasize how your company is about relationships. Starbucks is doing this with this new you know, campaign about sort of the relational connections that happen at Starbucks. But and the key here, in my parentheses, right, the key here is to do it authentically. So you have to make sure that you are not just sort of you know, making it look like you're talking about human relationships, and actually it's just a big ad, right? It needs to be authentic. And just about, you know, every kind of company out there, or maybe not, but many companies, and certainly most of your companies, there is something about your business that has to do with personal relationships and helping people connect with each other. And so emphasizing that, I think, in an ad can be really helpful. And doing it across social media, which is this, yes, it's digital, so it is inherently disconnected in some ways, and yet it is this sort of area of the internet that is all about making connections and being with people authentically. And so to do that, and to you know, to emphasize that sort of aspect of what you do, I think can be just really super powerful if you decide to. Number 4 here is don't give up on old technology that can still be useful. So Dennys, I think, really capitalized on this idea with its check-in campaigns, right? Because, again, check-ins are not nearly as popular as they once were when Foursquare really got started, when Facebook started introducing check-ins. And yet Dennys is still doing these check-in campaigns that are really successful. And so, you know, don't sort of forget about the stuff that's already out there and that you can use and call on. Because there are people who still know how to do it, still are going to use it, and would be happy, you know, to engage in your campaign, particularly if, you know, if the reward is high enough. And that's my takeaway here for number 5, right? Remember that your campaign is probably, in many cases, your campaign is as good as the benefit. And really, maybe what I should have put there is your contest is as good as the benefit, right? In many cases, the bigger your prize is, the more user engagement you're going to get, the more people involved, you know, with it. Now, of course, we all have budgets and we all have constraints on that sort of thing. You know, we are not all the lottery that can, you know, we're not all Powerball that can give away hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Most of us can't give away huge prizes. However, just remember that there is, in general, a pretty direct correlation between the number of people who are going to engage and the level and quality of that engagement, and the sort of value of what it is that you are giving out as a result of them engaging in your campaign. Now, of course, you know, the flip side of that is, you know, that I'm talking mostly here about things where you might win, you would sort of be entered to win a big prize. I think the other part of that is that there are plenty of good contests and campaigns out there where everybody gets something, or many people get something, and so therefore it can be a thing of less value, if that makes sense, right? So if everybody gets, you know, $5 off their bill, well, that's something you can give to a lot of people, and it's going to, you know, increase user engagement because it's not, you know, it's not people thinking that they have a 1 in 1,000 chance of winning it. They know that they're going to get it if they participate. Number 6 here, don't be afraid to go untraditional, the uncampaign, I'm calling it. So again, with the Votto Bistro, you know, and their anti-Yelp campaign, just such a clever idea. And I think there are ways of sort of, you know, turning these ideas on your head, you know, in some ways. I mean, what if you know, what if you had a contest where you said, we want you to unlike us on Facebook. We want you to stop liking us on Facebook and come into our store and buy something instead. And if you unlike us on Facebook and come into our store this weekend and buy something, you'll be entered to win such and such, right? So, I mean, that's just an idea, right? But something where you're challenging people, hey, you know, don't do what you know, we're not going to ask you to do what you might expect us to. Instead, we're going to ask you to do something different. You know, I think there are all kinds of ways of having fun with the unexpected when it comes to campaigns, and that bistro certainly did that with their anti-Yelp campaign. Number 7, consider how you are targeting, both the benefits and the drawbacks, right? So, so this guy who targeted just his roommate for these fake Facebook ads, you know, like I said before, really shows the power of targeting and how niche you can get if you really want to, and if you want to spend the time doing it, and really shows its drawbacks, right? It really starts to you know, I mean, people could at a certain point obviously start really freaking out about the privacy and that sort of thing. So you have to be careful there as well. I do think ultimately the lesson to be learned from what he did was that we could all probably think about when it comes to Facebook ads and things like that, we probably all could think about doing more targeting and more specific targeting and that sort of thing, so that our ads are a little more niche than they maybe otherwise would be, right? Not that we're targeting, you know, a single person or even, you know, a group of a dozen people, but that we are targeting smaller segments so that our messages can be more specific, more likely to break through the clutter that people might see in their news feeds. And number 8 here, have a clear objective. One thing that I did with this campaign, if you noticed on the slides for the campaigns, I sort of put at the bottom of each slide what their objective was in the campaign, and that's something that, of course, is fundamental, I think, to starting a campaign on social media, is that you make sure that you know what you want to get out of it at the end of the day. So you can say, was this in fact a successful campaign? Did I do what I wanted to do here, or you know, was it not exactly what I thought it should be? Was there something that could have been better? But basically, knowing what you want to get out of it so that you, in the end, can measure it and see if you did what you thought you were going to do, or you know, how you can make improvements, I think is really important. So those are my takeaways. That's great campaigns for fall 2014. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll end just a couple minutes early here. The next Straight Talk on Social Media will be Friday, November 14th at 11 o'clock Pacific time. I'm not sure what the focus topic will be at this point, but we'll come up with something good. Maybe we'll do a webinar, since it's close to Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll do a webinar about ways to say thank you on social media. That idea has just popped in my head, and I kind of like that. So maybe it'll be ways to say thank you on social media next time. Anyway, for our telecommunications clients, Dave Newstratton's next Straight Talk on Telco Marketing webinar will be Wednesday the 29th at 11 o'clock Pacific. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that the audio and visual was all just fine, even from a distance. You know, certainly email me and let me know if you had any issues. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.